film itself does not always have to be a masterpiece. For some movies, they may almost be considered so bad it's good, or even just bad. But when it comes to car chases, it may be surprising to find some of these films hide a gem or two that are worth remembering. MFP presents 10 underrated movie car chases.
If you've got a problem with business, you get Carter.
A tragic failure at the box office. The 2000 remake of the British crime thriller Get Carter, originally starring Michael Caine, now replaced by Sylvester Stallone as Jack Carter, has been virtually tucked away in the history books. Playing a Las Vegas mob enforcer, Carter returns back home to Seattle to solve his brother's murder and avenge his death, after breaking ties with his employer as he is on a mission to find out who is responsible. Jack's partner McCarty, played by John C. McGinley, is sent by his former boss to kill Jack. It is here we get our second major car chase of the film, with Carter driving a 1998 Cadillac Seville STS with a 4.6 litre V8 outputting 305 horsepower, and his pursuers driving a 1986 Jaguar Vandenplas V12 5.3 litre outputting around 290 horsepower. The chase indeed feels like it belongs on equal terms. Frantically edited and shot, Get Carter's chase borders on the line of going almost too far with its shaky cam, but manages to stay more grounded and gritty this time round, yet was demonstrating what would become more of the norm of style by this point, come post 2000 car chases. Almost never talked about, the film does carry some value to it on further viewing, and although nowhere near the same level of respect of the 1971 original will ever be earned, the action and chases do contribute to the overall value of the film, and it is clear that effort and skill were brought to the table while making this 2000 Ghost of the Past.
We're the Sweeney, shithead. You're nicked.
A modern update of the 1970s British TV series, 2012's The Sweeney, starring Ray Winstone and Agent Carter fame Hayley Atwell, tells the story of a flying squad of London's Metropolitan Police, led by Winstone, as DI Jack Regan, as they are on the case of taking down a group of jewellery thieves wanted for murder. With the original TV series starring John Thor and Dennis Waterman, lasting from 1975 to 78, the show had become known for many car chases, and as such, it was only fitting that director Nick Love was to include his own chase within this 2012 adaptation. As an homage to the original series, constantly using Jaguar S-types throughout, a 2012 Jaguar XFR X250 with a supercharged 5-litre AJ V8 Gen 3 engine package with 510 horsepower was brought in to be the antagonist's mode of escape, while the protagonists drive a 2011 Ford Focus 1.6 EcoBoost ST replica with 150 horsepower. One of the biggest issues, as mentioned in a segment of the BBC's Top Gear, where Richard Hammond and Jeremy Clarkson were brought in to mockingly improve the chase, was that the major difference in terms of the power of the engines in comparison was brought up. Nonetheless, the chase scene was played out in the climax of the film and was to be a highlight. Racing through the English countryside and finally into a caravan park, the chase is well executed and lives up to the expectation of the original show. Though flying under the radar internationally and only making a limited impression at the box office, The Sweeney did deliver a film worth enjoying and a chase worthy of its 1970s predecessor.
Put your trousers on, you nicked.
Bloody copper! Keep going! Keep going!
Overshadowed the following year, 1967's Robbery by English director Peter Yates carries a rather important significance in the world of movie car chases, as it was thanks to this film and its opening escape did we get what many consider to be the greatest movie car chase of all time, Bullitt. Focusing on a group of gangsters in the UK planning on taking on a daring train robbery, the film first opens with the diamond heist that ends with a car chase through the streets of London. With no music and filmed with gritty realism from outside and within both the gangster's car, a 1964 Jaguar Mark II re-engined as a 3.8 litre, and the police car in pursuit, a 1964 Jaguar S-Type XJ3, the chase is filmed at speed and wonderfully executed, leaving the audience feeling they are right there inside those racing vehicles. With the Jaguars carrying what has been said to be a 3.8 litre inline 6 with 220 horsepower, they were considered as some of the most reliable cars at the time UK had to offer, and were seen as the British stuntmen's favourite car to use due to their durability. Narrowly avoiding pedestrians and eventually an occupied school crosswalk, several gang members are actually filmed jumping out and rolling from their moving car one by one onto the streets. They're rather tamed compared to today's standards, and would basically become almost outdated only a year later. It was this chase and film that got American icon Steve McQueen interested in hiring director Peter Yates, and to bring him in to direct his next film and to produce a car chase the US had never seen before. Faster.
Doing 65. Oh, then there's plenty left, right?
Penned by Law & Order writer-producer Dick Wolf, No Man's Land follows a story very similar years before the likes of Point Break and The Fast and the Furious, of an undercover cop sent in to infiltrate a criminal group, only to find himself drawn to the lifestyle and charm of those years after. Working to bring down a GTA ring, young rookie cop Benji Taylor, played by D.B. Sweeney, is recruited to help solve the murder of a detective, while on the job, trying to infiltrate car thieves, led by a young Charlie Sheen. While making his big break in Hollywood between Platoon and Wall Street, No Man's Land would see Sheen play rich kid Ted Varick, who is running an auto theft racket, as he garners a friendship with Benji, as the two begin to share a liking to one another, and steal several cars along the way. Littered with a number of Porsche 911s throughout, as is the main car of preference, it is a 1975 silver Porsche 911 930 that takes center stage in its chase against a 1982 Chevrolet Camaro and a 1977 Lincoln Continental Mark V, where both Benji and Ted are hunted down by a rival competitor through Los Angeles. With the 911 930 3-litre turbo flat-6 engine carrying 260 brake horsepower, the Porsche is presented wonderfully on screen, racing in and out of traffic, as Benji is able to speed down the LA streets as he avoids his would-be killers. After several close calls, the chase ends with a spectacular crash through some product placement, with the scene underlaid with a memorable score by Basil Poliduris. An edge-of-your-seat car chase is given to us in No Man's Land, and is indeed a film that is unfortunately not given the respect it deserves.
Wow, I guess I should have warned you about that hairpin back there, huh? No problem.
William Friedkin's Jade was a mid-90s crime thriller murder mystery story, the likes of which had become hugely popular of the time, thanks to the smash hit that was Basic Instinct. By this stage in his career, director Friedkin had become known as the man of the movie car chase, due to his impressive outings like The French Connection and To Live and Die in LA. Starring pre-CSI Miami fame David Caruso, playing Assistant DA David Corelli, and femme fatale popular Linda Fiorentino, Jade focuses on a story of prostitution and blackmail of several political officials who partook in paid acts of pleasure. While looking to discover the identity of Jade, a highly desired call girl who is able to identify several government officials involved, Corelli waits to meet up with informant Patrice, played by Angie Evenhart, when she is deliberately and graphically run over to keep her silent. What begins next is a car chase given the frantic Friedkin touch between a black 1992 Ford Thunderbird LX and a 1994 silver Ford Taurus DN5, with the Thunderbird equipped with a 5-litre 200 horsepower V8 and the Taurus with its highest option of a 3.8-litre 140 horsepower V6 engine. What keeps this chase off the radar is unfortunately its overambition and lack of suspension of disbelief, as there are several instances of over-the-top stunts that, although were done practically, defy belief and takes the audience out of the moment. Friedkin has claimed that this is his favourite film, despite its negative reception and panning, yet the Friedkin car chase energy is present and accounted for, and is a shame Jade is not often brought up in the same breath as his other classic automotive carnage.
Man, you fucked up!
Scared the shit out of you, huh?
Oh, I'm an asshole for racing with you!
The film, remembered perhaps more for its title-named song, Against All Odds starring Jeff Bridges and Rachel Ward, is a film where little seems to make much sense, as failing football player Terry Brogan, played by Bridges, is hired by gangster friend Jake, played by James Woods, to find his girlfriend Jessie, where the two eventually fall in love. Early in the story, both Bridges and Woods meet up on LA's Sunset Boulevard for what starts out as a street race, then builds into a battle of egos, shown to express the fast life in Los Angeles, and to give a backstory for Terry and Jake's friendship, with Jake seen driving a black 1983 Ferrari 308 GTSI carrying a 2.9-litre V8 with 255 horsepower, and Terry in a 3-litre, flat-6, 180 brake horsepower, red 1983 Porsche 911 SC Cabriolet. The race was shot towards the end of production and took a week to complete, with all the stunt driving done over 2 weekends. To pull off the chase, the City of LA only gave the proper permits to film by allowing only one direction at a time on the road to be shut down, meaning one lane would be filled with stunt drivers, while the other would be occupied by civilians not fully aware of what was going on. With stunt coordinator Gary Davis set to drive the Porsche, he brought in legend Kerry Lofton to drive the Ferrari, despite director Taylor Hackford showing concern, given the stunt veteran 70 years of age at the time, to which Davis assured him there was no other driver he trusted more with his life to race with, and the result speaks for itself.
We cannot outrun them in this old truck.
You have a point there. But
1981's Condor Man was Disney's attempt at trying to make a live-action comic book movie, decades before they would acquire Marvel Studios. What resulted was a huge misfire, and a film that seemed to have an identity conflict, with a bumbling superhero wannabe, played by English comedian Michael Crawford, doing a questionable American accent. when comic book artist Woody Wilkins is brought in by CIA friend Harry to pick up some secret Russian documents by later turned defector Natalia Rombova, played by 80s Latin beauty Barbara Carrera. He is soon trusted by her due to his skills and false reputation as the superhero Condor Man, and she later insists he be the one to bring her across the Iron Curtain. Woody agrees to take on this role only if the CIA backs his plans to create a slew of gadgets and vehicles designed by him. Making an escape through southern France, Woody and Natalia are first seen travelling in a mock-up truck. They are soon intercepted by a group of KGB agents driving in four 1975 black Porsche 911s and a 1969 911 Porsche made to resemble a 935. It is at this point Woody lowers the interior of his vehicle and sheds its outer shell, which is shown to be a high-tech, yellow custom 1973 Nova Sterling inside. Fitted onto a VW chassis, the Nova kit car came equipped with a 2.5-litre V6 155 horsepower engine. Within the film it was made to somewhat rival the famous Batmobile, and shown to carry laser blasters, a flamethrower, and turn into a makeshift ramp and even a watercraft. Very little information is available, as Disney has practically disowned Condor Man's existence, as it was a huge failure at the box office, and is currently without even a Blu-ray release. Still, Condor Man is a film that perhaps deserves a second chance, if not for at least trying to be something worth remembering, along with a well-executed chase by French stunt supervisor and James Bond car stunt alum Remy Julien and his crew. Starting off smack bang in the middle of a bank robbery, 1987's The Hidden spares no time to get us into an amazing car chase that is balls to the wall 80s in every way. Not given any backstory, we see a stoic character enter a bank and rob it at gunpoint, and soon after flees the scene of the crime in a black 1978 Ferrari 308 GTS. Playing the song On Your Feet by metal band Shock Paris, our driver is showing little to no respect for his 1980s icon sports car as he drives in and out of traffic and even directly ramming into other drivers. Filmed in and around MacArthur Park, the Ferrari is seen drifting around the streets of Los Angeles with great succession and eventually finding its way into the local park itself. First seen played by actor Chris Mulkey, it is slowly revealed through the film that our bank robber is an alien parasite who has found its way to Earth and who has a distinct preference for fast cars and hard music. Escaping from body to body in order to survive, the entity finds its way into several people, one of which being a stripper named Brenda, played by Claudia Christian, who would later find greater fame in another alien-based story, in the TV series Babylon 5. Purposely wanting to see a Ferrari be pushed to its limits and destroyed on camera, director Jack Scholder insisted on using the Ferrari 308, despite the producers wanting a less expensive car to be seen demolished. Yet Scholder said it would grab the audience's attention right off the bat to see this iconic car thrashed within the opening of the film, where ultimately 4 Ferraris were used for the chase, and subsequently making this scene more than a pricey endeavour, but well worth it. Uno Magnum Special per Tony Seta, Blazing Magnum, or Strange Shadows in an Empty Room, as are at least 3 titles this movie is known by, is an Italian-Canadian co-produced film shot in Canada with a mixed nationality cast, directed by Alberto Del Martino, that plays on the rough cop who goes by his own rules theme. Starring Stuart Whitman playing Officer Tony Seta, Blazing Magnum tells the story of a tough cop looking to find the murderer of his sister, as carnage ensues on the city streets of Ontario. With our hero in pursuit of a potential informant, a chase that has been said was barely choreographed takes place, as we see a 1971-72 Ford Mustang sports roof chased down by a 1968 Buick Special Deluxe. Shot on Canadian streets without the proper permits, it was said the chase cost over $200,000 to produce. Almost every imaginable situation with these 2 vehicles takes place in the tropes of the car chase genre, from the hilly street launchings of local roads to jumping over a train in full motion. The scene plays as an almost dance between these 2 cars as they 180 in unison and jump the asphalt in such synchronization, it is hard not to be mesmerized by this moment on screen, which the director made sure to milk it for all it's worth given its almost 10-minute runtime. Taking inspiration from the original Gone in 60 Seconds, given its usage of the Mach 1 style Mustang, but mostly from its repeating of several major stunts over and over again from multiple angles. The chase works to impress just as well today as it did back in 1976, and is a true testament to the Italian stunt team.
I'd like directions to the nearest restaurant.
Sure. I'm sorry about the scratches.
Making his way back behind the wheel after his iconic performance as Kowalski, Fear is the Key would be Barry Newman's follow-up, showing off his vanishing point skills once more on the road. Released in 1972, Fear is the Key is a true underrated gem if ever there was one. Beginning with a mysterious character named John Talbot, played by Newman, who arrives into a small Louisiana county and stirs up some trouble at a diner after being refused liquor due to it being a church Sunday. A fight with local law enforcement takes place, and our lead is carted off, where he is soon shown in court and discovered to be wanted by Interpol. Making a daring escape and taking hostage a young woman named Sarah, played by Susie Kendall, Talbot steals a red 1972 Ford Gran Torino sports roof, with its highest performance engine option being a 351 cubic inch 4-barrel Cobra Jet V8, outputting 248 net horsepower. An outright thrill ride takes place, with dust and rocks flying all over, even to the point of shattering a camera lens in the process. Heading off into the back roads of Louisiana, the chase would move onto plank roads amidst the swamp region of the state, and even onto local beaches. Lasting just over 13 minutes and 30 seconds from the moment our anti-hero gets into his stolen car, the chase within that time gives little pause, and is a non-stop high-speed race to escape, and shot practically with the famous Kerry Lofton style, even to the point of bending the Torino's frame and keeping the damage within the film as the Ford soldiers on. The film itself is a one-of-a-kind story, and if not for the fact that this is also Sir Ben Kingsley's first feature-length film playing a heavy, it does carry within it a car chase that is worth the price of admission alone, and one that deserves more recognition than it currently receives.
You're mad. You have to be insane.
I've got nothing to lose.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like, subscribe and bell icon in order to help this channel grow and to bring you more content such as this one, as your support is what keeps this channel going.